of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ma'am, may we please have roll call?
Counselor Hanson,
Here.
Zadi,
Here.
Hickerson,
Here.
Pedri, Demas,
Here.
Thompson,
Here.
Robinson,
Here.
Vitolo,
Here.
Mayor Mickelson.
Here. Okay, and that brings us to our agenda for this evening. Has everyone had a chance to review it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Councilman Zadi?
I'd like to make an amendment to the agenda.
Okay.
I'd like to move in presentations and proclamations. I would like to move the Veterans Day proclamation from number 3 to the first position so they don't have to sit here all night and listen to the other presentations.
Very good. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Hickerson. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, so that brings us to our consent agenda. We have the City Council meeting minutes of October 15th, 2024. We have one appointment of Devin Brubaker for his third term on the Joint Travel and Tourism Board. We have the Joint Powers Specific Purpose Tax Board meeting minutes of September 9th, 2024. The Joint Powers Telecom Board meeting minutes of September 19th, 2024. Joint Powers Combined Communications Board meeting minutes of September 30th, 2024. And then we have a notice from the Department of Environmental Quality regarding an application filing for the Kemmer Power Station Unit 1 project. A letter from Deborah Baumer Esquire regarding the industrial siting permit application for the Dry Creek Drona project. A letter from Governor Mark Gordon regarding denial of application for American Rescue Act plan funds for the Bunning Park project. Invitation from Commerce Bank for their exclusive preview and holiday open house on November 21st, 2024. A thank you note from the Wyoming Association of Municipalities, and a notice from Bridger Coal Company regarding changes to their 2024 blasting schedule. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilor Patillo. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Demas. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries unanimously, bringing us to our bid openings. First up, we have our sanitary sewer project. Okay, the first company is Subsurface Inc. from Moorhead, Minnesota.
That's subsurface, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That sounded like service.
Okay, there's a bid bond. And the total bid amount is $1,696,173. $1,696,173. Next up, we have Inliner Solutions from Kiowa, Colorado. Their total bid amount is $845,138. $845,138. And there is a bid bond. Slightly. Thank you. Then we have In Situ Form Technologies.
Where are they out of?
They're from Littleton, Colorado. And their bid total is $992,183.50. $992,183.50. And they have a bid bond. Then we have Whitaker Construction Company from Brigham City, Utah. The total bid amount is $1,220,925. $1,220,925. And there is a bond. That all of them?
That's all four.
Okay. Well, we will await the recommendation of staff on those, and that brings us to our presentations and proclamations. And first up, we have the Veterans Day Proclamation. If any of you would like to speak to this, you're more than welcome to come up to the podium.
We'd just like to, the veterans, we gathered up a crew over here and come down for our meeting because one of your secretaries asked to have us here for this proclamation. We just want to thank you for it. But we got Carl, John Army. We got a Purple Heart Marine here. These are all Vietnam guys. We got Paul Perez. We got Tom Lovato. Tim, he's a bubblehead, submarine guy. And then we got an Air Force guy here too, our young guy. Larry Gary.
G.
Sheep?
G.
Army, Navy, Air Force?
Navy.
Oh boy, another.
Submarine tender.
All right. Is any other veterans? Oh, yeah, another Marine over here. All right. Anyhow, just want to introduce us and thank you for doing this, guys.
Well, we certainly are very,
Doug Urick, Army.
yes, sir. We are deeply appreciative of the service that you provided to us. Veterans Day, originally known as Armistice Day, is a federal holiday celebrating the day when the armistice with Germany went into effect, thus ending World War I, commemorating the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month for the year 1918. Since the establishment of the original 13 states, Americans have been willing to fight and die to preserve their individual rights as guaranteed in the United States Constitution and the Bill of Rights, and hundreds of thousands have given their lives while serving. On Veterans Day, we pause to pay tribute to all who have proudly worn our nation's uniform. The contributions and sacrifices of the people who have served in the armed forces have been vital in maintaining our freedoms and way of life. Our veterans are brave and selfless individuals whose abiding patriotism and enduring devotion to the ideals on which the United States is founded can never fail to inspire us. Many sustained life-altering physical injuries and disabilities. Others bear the burden of emotional scars for the remainder of their lives. Our veterans represent the best of America. We continue to draw inspiration from the heroism and dedication of those who served and sacrificed for the cause of liberty and justice. As many communities today observe the traditional parades, picnics, and celebrations we have enjoyed over decades, let us all recognize that the commitment and personal sacrifices that our veterans have made to defend our way of life command gratitude and respect each and every day of the year. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Max Mickelson, Mayor of the City of Rock Springs, do hereby declare the day of November 11th, 2024 to be Veterans Day in the City of Rock Springs, and pledge our support for veterans and military families. I encourage our citizens to honor our veterans and military families and rededicate themselves to the preservation of our liberties under the Constitution of the United States of America. Thank you all. Council, do you have anything you'd like to say? Council? Okay. Well, I suppose we should grab a photo.
Sure.
Yeah, okay. If you all wouldn't mind joining us. Makes me feel better though, because I've done the same thing.
You were all comfy, it was perfect.
No, we have no.
Okay, next up, that brings us to the APG recruitment presentation for the Rock Springs Police Department.
You all were invited down to the American Legion post on the 14th of December, about 2 o'clock in the afternoon for the annual Army-Navy game. Go Navy, beat Army. Let's get on them again.
Thank you.
Go Army, beat Navy, is that what he's trying to say?
I got a coin in my pocket. I haven't given it to you.
Well, that's quite a tough act to be able to follow there. So, again, thank you guys for your service. I really do appreciate it. Thanks again for giving us a little bit of time today, Mayor and esteemed council members. My name is Brian, and this is Cassie, and we are from APG. You're probably wondering who the hell is APG. You would probably know us as the Rocket Miner. APG is our parent company. They have 207 properties from Washington State all the way over to Virginia. And a family-owned company. Mr. Adams still runs the company. He runs it, like his family, and he treats all of us like family members there. And we are extremely proud to be able to be representing the Rocket Miner and Adams here. So to give you just a little bit of feedback here as to why we're actually here in front of you, a couple months ago, we had the pleasure of having a conversation with Kelly, just talking about things maybe that we could maybe be able to help the city out with and do different things. And one of the things she mentioned to us was that recruitment for law enforcement officers was really kind of a challenge right now. You had several open positions, and the applicants, or the number of applicants that you had been getting, had started to diminish right there. So we kind of talked to her about what you were looking for and what those kind of demographics and stuff like that look like. And then we had the pleasure of chatting with the chief of police, kind of getting his feedback on what he was looking for here. And then that gave us the opportunity to come and speak to you today about some of the solutions we've come up with that we know will be able to help you with those applicants trying to get those positions filled. And I do know, visiting with both Kelly and with the chief, that it is kind of a long cycle. It's not something that you apply today and you're on the street tomorrow. It is a significant process process. So with that in mind, we've created some strategies that will help to fill that pipeline as quick as possible with the good quality applicants so that we can get those into the pipeline through the process and also into the, hopefully they pass that grade and into the academy for you so we can get those positions filled for you just as soon as possible. That being said, I believe we had a folder for each one of you there. It's going to have everything that we talked to on here. I don't know what the procedure is here, so I'm just going to go ahead and talk. If you have any questions or concerns or things like that, please don't hesitate to reach out, and then obviously we can answer questions at the end. I'm a digital guy here, so I'm hoping I can figure out as we move on. That's not the button we want to touch. How about that one? That isn't the button we want to touch either. There we go. So to kind of give you a little bit of more insight why you're talking to us and your local newspaper, Adams has invested very highly in the digital realm right there. And right now we are the #2 advertising digital agency in the company or in the country. The only one that is larger than us right now is Gannett right there. Again, we are running campaigns not only in the United States, but we also are running them in Canada, Mexico, in the Caribbean, over in Europe, that sort of thing. The beautiful thing about digital is I don't have to be in that specific spot to be able to go ahead and use digital platforms right there. So our company they've invested in it. We're pretty close to a decade right now into it, and we've got a lot of proven results, especially when it comes into the recruitment realm. And I've got a couple of case studies that are in there that we will talk to you a little bit about as well too. But I wanted to make sure that you knew that, yes, it's the Rocket Miner, and we are a local company here. And the home base for our digital realm here in Wyoming is out of Cheyenne, but we are a Wyoming company. All of the campaigns are predominantly run out of Wyoming. The people that you would be interacting with this campaign are right here in Rock Springs. You're not going to be talking to somebody in Virginia or Toronto or wherever. You will be visiting with folks that are here in Wyoming. And we believe very importantly in keeping those jobs and those opportunities here in Wyoming and still being able to drive the fantastic results. So we've come up with 3 different strategies for you to drive those applicants for you. The first of the strategies is called display. And display pretty much is those ads. If you've ever done some sort of search or something, and then all of a sudden you're on to CNN.com, you're on to USA Today, you're on to TV Guide or Sports Illustrated or ESPN, and all of a sudden you find one of those ads that followed you. That's what's called display ads right there. And they are built for multiple devices. So all of the devices, whether you have an Android phone, an Apple phone, a tablet, a desktop, a laptop, any sort of device that you might have, the ads are built to be able to do that right there. And it's all based off of behavior. So as an example, when we're targeting someone, say it's a military person who has interest in law enforcement, that particular person is going to be able to see those ads when they go through. If it is, and no disrespect to Cassie, but I'm not sure that she wants to be in the law enforcement, Cassie will not be seeing those ads right there. So this is behavior targeted and then also by demographic targeted right there. Because what we want to do is we want to be able to maximize who is getting in front of those messages for you. So the great thing about digital versus probably any other medium that you use is that it can be targeted. So the old adage is, I know 20% of my advertising is working. I just don't know what the 20% is. Digital is a great way because you're able to track it through metrics. You're going to be able to see through the applicants, through the reports and everything that we're going to be able to show you as we go through here, who exactly is seeing it, what the results are, and how the campaign is actually going at live. So you can actually, if you're bored one night at 1 o'clock in the morning, be able to get onto the dashboard and actually see how the campaign is going. But at the end of the day, I can sit there and show you how many clicks and people have followed through. But at the end of the day, it's going to be applications filled. And that's how I believe we're going to be judged. And I know this is what we can be able to do for you. So when we were talking to Kelly, we were talking about different areas where we should target. So again, the population pool to try and be able to drive those applicants out of Rock Springs, you probably have maximized that already going through the different things that you've used. So when we were talking to Kelly said, and also through the data, because we gave her about 25 cities in which we thought that would be good opportunities for us to be able to target for you to be able to get good quality applicants. Between the data and also what Kelly had said where you had seen a little bit of results was out of the Minneapolis area. So this particular campaign is geared towards that. Here's the beautiful thing about digital. If we are 2 weeks into this and I'm not seeing any results or anything, it can be switched almost overnight to be able to get into the city that we want. Again, we've got a lot of data here that will show us where our best opportunities are to drive applicants to be able to apply for the Rock Springs Police Department. We have to try somewhere, and the data is telling us one of the best opportunities we've got is Minneapolis. So when you see that up there, we didn't throw spaghetti against the wall and go, hey, Minneapolis might be kind of cool. It's because the data is telling us that there's great opportunities there. And when we showed this to Kelly through the cities, she did say that some of the applicants that you got had actually come out of that area, which kind of gave us a kind of a little bit of an idea. Okay, we know there's some interest there. It's one of the top ones on the list here. Makes for a good opportunity to do this. But again, I can't stress enough that the beautiful thing about digital is just because it doesn't work today or that area, everything is done by AI. They track everything, see how search patterns are going. If we see the slightest dip in what our expectations are off of that, the digital campaigns can be switched almost immediately for us to make sure we're maximizing. Because last thing I want to do is be standing here in front of you again telling you this didn't work and now I need to try something else. AI will tell me that. It will tell me that immediately, and the switch can be done relatively quickly. I put a couple of things on here. These are things that you can read at your leisure, but we just captured a couple of about 40 or 50 of the best keyword searches based on what Google was telling us, based on a lot of the campaigns that we've done, as you will see from the case studies right there. Just wanted to kind of give you some ideas of what some of those keyword phrases were going to be on there. They are not the be-all, end-all. It is not the entire list. The entire list is way too long to print, but these are the most popular ones, the ones where we believe that are going to be at the top of the list for us to be able to drive that results for you to get people interested in being able to apply. One other thing that I want to say is that, okay, great, they see the ad, they click on it. Where are they going to go, Brian? Where they're going to go is they're going to go to the application process. So we will be able to lead them through the funnel from seeing that right to the application process so they can go ahead and apply immediately for the position. And then that will go to your human resources department where they can take it from there as to what happens right there. So all of the things that we talk about will all funnel them right into the application process. Why don't you go through the next one? So the second tactic that we decided to go with video. Video is done the exact same way as the display ads, only it's a video. And if you've ever heard the adage of a video or a picture is worth 1,000 words, that's exactly it. These are 15 to 20 second videos, but they're talking about the positive things. They're seeing the positive things going on in Rock Springs. They're seeing the positive things about the Rock Springs Police Department. Video right now is the #1 engagement thing in all of digital right there. Again, and these are non-skippable videos as well too. That's why their duration is not 30 seconds or a minute, because we don't want to lose people's attention. You've got that 10 to 15 seconds to be able to capture their interest right there, but they're not going to be able to go on to it and skip it like you can do on other things. They have to watch the entire video. But again, by the time they get to that point, the video is already done and shown. And when they click on the video again will take them to the application process so that they'll be able to fill through the funnel right there. And again, all of these tactics are going to be in the Minneapolis area up there. And again, if we're not seeing the results that we want out of this, AI will absolutely tell us, Brian, we need to look at some different things right there, but we will not let a day go by without making sure your campaign is running at its maximum efficiency. Again, some of the keyword terms, a lot of them the same are what the display ads are going to be. Again, the list is much larger than this, but we wanted to give you just some sort of idea what it is we were thinking. And again, if Kelly or Chief Bill or any of you, Mayor Max or any of you, hey, we think we need to put these into our keyword searches and anything like that. This isn't the be all end all. This is what digitally through Google and those sort of things are telling us that will work best. But it can absolutely be amended, tailored, changed. Somebody has an absolute preference that they want to try or give it a try. We can absolutely be able to do that with you as well. The next part about it is the reporting part of it. So this is the key. So this is the beautiful thing about living in the digital world. Everything is trackable. So I'm going to be able to give you pretty much any stat you could ever possibly want through the reporting. And it is also live reporting. So you will get a dashboard with a username and password. You will be able to sign on there. And again, 1 o'clock in the morning, you can't sleep, you're bored and just want to see how the campaign is going. You will be absolutely be able to go on and see how it's going. Nothing is hidden. Nothing is on the backside. We show you the good, the bad, and any ugly that are on there. Also, as part of it, we also every 2 weeks have a brief, at the beginning, they're not quite so brief because we want to make sure we're all on the same page. Once we see how things are going, we usually have a 10 to 15 minute call every couple minutes or every couple weeks, just showing you how well the campaign is going, making sure we're on the same page and making sure the results that we're seeing are the results that you guys are seeing right there. Again, transparency is the most important thing right here. The last thing I want to do is be here in a couple of months explaining why this did not work. So we want to make sure that there's never any surprises and that we're changing. If we do have to change tactics, if we do have to change areas, it's not going to be a surprise to anybody. We will reach out the phone, talk to either Kelly or Chief Bryant or Bill or whoever you assign for us to have that conversation with so that they constantly know what's going on with the campaigns right there. Again, I can't express enough how much transparency is important to us and important to Adams because at the end of the day, we're all about our reputation and we want to make sure that you guys feel comfortable about what the things that we are doing. I apologize. I didn't mean to cut her off right there, but I'm going to actually let Cassie talk about the third tactic right here, which is our Recruitment Plus program right there, which has to do with some of the job boards and opportunities we're going to have. So I'm going to turn it over to Cassie to kind of take the next couple minutes and chat about that. Before I do that, are there any questions about the first two tactics I've chatted about?
Council?
Wow. Okay. Awesome. Cassie, it's all yours.
All right, so then the third piece is the Max Recruit Plus. It is the job boards. So not only are we hitting LinkedIn, Indeed, ZipRecruiter, all the big ones that you guys know and you see commercials for, we're hitting all of them all in one price, but we're also hitting the little ones that we don't even think about. It will also go on Google. So when someone's searching for police position or a police officer job, on Google, then it'll show up there as well. And it's all one price. We do link the digital targeted ads and the videos to these to this job board so that there's the one-click apply and everything's funneled in together. And so it's a really comprehensive campaign altogether.
If I can add one thing there, the reason why we do this, we want to make the process as easy for the applicant as possible. I'm sure we've all done things online and you're like, where do I go? What do I do? How does this work? How do I go? And then you get frustrated and you leave. We don't want that to be the process, especially if they are an outstanding account. We want to make sure that we literally make the process as simple as possible for the applicant and so that they're easily able to go through the funnel. There's no, hey, click on the button on the left. Hopefully you saw thought or anything like that. It is all very easy for the user. And I always use myself, obviously, because I can't even, get a slideshow to run. If I can go ahead and do it, then I feel very confident that a lot of folks are going to be able to do that. And we use this same service for ourselves. So I'm not sitting here telling you about something that is awesome and very cool, and then we don't do it. It's not like do as I say, not as I do. That we actually use these services, and I can tell you, Cassie was one of the folks that I was actually able to bring on through this process that we're talking to you about right there.
All right. Now you
Okay,
talk
so talk a little bit about how things look here. So we've kind of broke it down into the 3 different categories. And you're going to see this one for the first 3 months, and then we're going to have one for the 6 months after. Again, they're all interchangeable right here, but if you just want to try it for the first 3 months and then you want to see how things are going before the 6. But the reason why we did this is, and when you see the 2 prices, the 3 month is a little bit more expensive than the 6 month. Based on what Chief Bill and Kelly had both had told us, that there's a big need right now. And we're going into an area, so what we need to do right now is fill your funnel, and fill your funnel as quick as possible so that they can get into that process, so they can go through their evaluations and their testing and everything, so that we can get those candidates into the academy as soon as, the opportunities are available there. So when you see this one right here, and this one here is running right around $3,200 right there, that is because we need to put a little bit more jet fuel to it to make sure that we are getting as many quality candidates as we can. If you go to the next slide right there, you will see that goes down to right around $1,600 a month. It's again because we have filled the funnel. The thought process behind this is that you've got a good, steady pool of candidates right there, and now we can continue just to kind of keep it out in front of them, be looking for those new folks that are coming in there. We're not going to have to kind of go out and kind of reinvent the wheel again right there, if that kind of makes sense. So, and again, you may sit, again, these aren't, you have to do the 9 months. And we're absolutely not saying that. What we want to do is continue to keep the funnel full. But after 3 months, if you're like, holy cow, Brian, we've got more people than we could ever possibly need, and we've got a good pool of, so when a position comes open, I've got folks that we can be able to go to right now, then we can go ahead and stop it after 3 months. The program is not going to be harmed by any way if you turn it off after 3 months, and then 6 months down the road, you need to start trying to fill that funnel again. We just want to make sure that keep you guys in a position so that you're never in a position for looking for different positions and stuff like that. And here's the beauty of it as well too. So say we do a awesome job for Chief Bill right there, and we've got the positions filled, and you need to move into another position, whatever it might be, and you need to be able to look for it. The same tactics are going to be able to work. We may change the area from Minneapolis to Salt Lake to Laramie to Cheyenne or Denver, somewhere like that. But the same tactics are going to be able to work. So we can change this campaign around as different positions fill and that sort of stuff right here. So this just isn't a police recruitment campaign. It can be a recruitment campaign for the city of Rock Springs and whatever that you're able to need, depending on how things kind of shake out and go through there. So the last thing I've got is that and it's not on the slide deck there, but it is on the left-hand side of your proposal things there. One of the things that I always like to look for is, okay, Brian, that's fantastic, but who the heck have you done this for? What kind of success have you had? Have you ever done this on this kind of scale or anything like that? You will see on the other side from one of them from in South Dakota, and then the other one in Houston, where we ran recruitment campaigns for law enforcement officers. You will see the success we had. Now, I will tell you, they spent a little bit more money, but not a lot more by any means. And you can see the results they got in 30 days right there. So I know I wouldn't be here in front of you today because I believe in my reputation, and I believe what we do. If I didn't think I could help you, if I didn't know that I could get these applicants for you at an affordable rate for you, I wouldn't be here tonight. I know that with our skill set, with the talent that we have behind Cassie and I leading these campaigns, I have no doubt that I will be able to fill that applicant pool for you and then be able to get those positions that you've got filled. I had a nice conversation yesterday or the day before, I apologize, with Chief Bill and kind of walked through him with the program there as well too. And so kind of let him kind of have an idea there. And he kind of gave me an idea of what you guys were looking for and things like that to make sure we were on the same page. And I believe, and Chief, please correct me if I'm incorrect, I think we've checked a lot of the boxes here that he was looking for in terms of a campaign, in terms of how we would be able to measure success. So, and if you will indulge me for another 15 seconds, and then I promise I will open it up to questions. We would love to be able to earn your business. We are a local company. We strive to be the best that we possibly can be, just like you all do there as well. This is would be a wonderful opportunity for us to be able to work for you, and we would love nothing more than to be able to earn your business. I know you've got other folks that you're talking to, but I will promise you that you will get the best we got, and we will drive results for you.
Very good.
With that
Thank you.
being said, any questions that anyone might have?
Council?
I've got one
Cusati?
question. From the 3 month to the 6 month, you said they'll throw more jet fuel on it. Now, what does that mean? Does it mean we get more ads out there?
Yeah, exactly.
So you're throttling, like in the first 3 months, we got
Correct.
twice as many ads? that'll go out
Almost
in
3
6.
times as many ads in the first 3 months. Again, because of the urgency of getting those positions filled right now and getting those applicants in there, and because of the population base that we've got out there, what we want to do, so as an example, so say I'm targeted, I'm interested in law enforcement, I will get served an ad. I will also probably get served an ad the next day, and then the next day, and then the next day. On the next campaign that we launch, once we've filled everything up right there, I will go ahead and probably just get an ad probably once during the week. Again, hey, reminder that you were interested in this, and be able to go through there. So again, the first 3 months, based on the need right now, I want to make sure that I get that funnel as full as humanly possible. And then once the funnel is full, or to a point where it's, I don't want to say dire, but you've got positions filled and you're to a bit more of a comfort zone, then we back it up a little bit right there. And then it's more of a branding reminder. Hey, if you're interested, Rock Springs is a beautiful area. It's a wonderful police department, a wonderful city to be able to work for, be able to keep that out there right there. So
Your Honor.
my grandpa was famous for always telling me when I was young, because I always used to fish and I never ever caught anything. My grandpa would always catch fish and I never did. And he goes, Brian, you always got to fish where the fish were biting. And apparently the fish were always biting on his side of the boat, not my side. This campaign is designed to fish where the fish are biting right there. We put these ads in front of folks that have some sort of interest in law enforcement, some sort of interest in Wyoming, to get them to understand how beautiful Rock Springs is, how wonderful it is to be able to work for the city and for the police department. That's what we're trying to do with this campaign right here. And again, with the tactics that we've got, these are 3 tactics that work hand in glove right there. These 3 work incredibly well together, and it's a well-rounded message to let people know that, hey, Rock Springs has got some things going on. It's a place that you need to take a look at without hitting them over the head with a sledgehammer, telling them this is the place you need to go.
Very good. Councilor Robinson?
So let's say that we spend the first 3 months in Minneapolis. The results aren't necessarily what we're hoping that they'll be. We decide to move to Green Bay. And that second set of 3 months, that price is still going to be the reduced price, or are you going to do the whole, inundation portion again, and it would be back up to the original 3 month
Councilor
price?
Robinson, I think before we even get to that point where it's not working, I'm going to be having a conversation with you probably a month in going, hey, we need to take a peek at maybe going into another location right there. I'm going to be telling you before we're having the conversation that the results aren't where they need to be. That being said, I don't anticipate there being any change. Again, I'm about my own reputation here, right here. I want to make sure this campaign is set. If we are not successful in Minneapolis at the $3,200 and we need to move on to another campaign, my company, myself, well, not myself, but my company will cover the cost to make sure that we are filling the funnel like what we said. So again, if we need to go for the other 6 months and we're not quite where we need to be, we'll run it at the $1,600 but you will get the $3,200 worth of value. Does
Okay.
that make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, very good. Thank you. We appreciate you taking your time to come down and speak with
No
us.
problem. Really do appreciate it, and thank you very much. And if any questions happen to come up, I think Cassie's card is in there, and Chief Brian knows how to get a hold of us as well too. Or Bill, excuse me. I'm Brian. He's Bill. Yeah, I think I did that on the phone with him yesterday. Actually, would be more than happy to be able to answer any questions for you. Thanks again for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, we have Devin Brubaker, the airport director, with a Southwest Wyoming Regional Airport update. Just a second, Devin. I got to get my timer running.
Well, couple things for you as I get my presentation pulled up. Positive news is I'm going to take so long that by the time I'm done, you might actually know who wins the presidency.
3 days.
I will adjourn this meeting, sir.
If I can get my flash drive to work here, sorry. There we are. All right. The other breaking news, it is too close to call, by the way, if anybody was wondering. Nobody chuckled. It's worth a try.
I can't imagine that actually being breaking news. I think that's
Old news.
exactly what we thought was happening.
I've been over there bouncing back and forth between MSNBC and Fox News, and both have completely different stories as to what's happening tonight. It's quite entertaining.
Imagine that.
All right, so just a quick update. I'll make it quicker than I did at the commission meeting today because I know the night is already long and you all want to go party and celebrate whatever you're trying to celebrate tonight. So just I haven't done this in a while, but just a reminder who our board of directors are and offer a thank you to our board of directors. We've kind of put them through the ringer for the last couple years, a lot of special meetings, a lot of executive sessions, a lot of tough decisions. But your two appointees sit in the room here. Our chairman is Jim Walmsley and our secretary treasurer is Matt McBurnett. And then the county has appointed Dr. Pete Jensen, Pete Rust, Mayor Pete Rust, and then Sean Valentine. So we have a rock star board. I'm not just saying that because there's two of them here and the meeting's recorded. Legitimately, we have a rock star board that I am so grateful that I get to work for. It makes my job a lot easier having partners that I get to go in front of each month and focus on the future of the airport and focus on the future of the community. So huge shout out to those folks. The other thing I want to highlight, I talk about quite often our team when I'm given accolades about the success of the airport or things that we're doing, and it's ultimately the team. I often will tell you that I will plant a seed. My employers are the ones that water it every day. I occasionally have to come along and throw some fertilizer on it, but most of the time they're the ones that are watering it every day and making sure that what we plant actually grows. And I want to highlight that our average longevity at the airport for our 9 total employees, including myself, is 14.4 years. The least senior person is at 6.5 years. The most senior is at 20.5. And so that is a testament to the quality of workplace that we offer. We demand a lot from our team. We're probably about 50% understaffed from where we should be for the operation we run. But this team hits it head on and really gets after it, and just want to give a shout out to the entire team. And if you know any of these folks up on the screen or you come across them, please take the time to thank them when you see them out in the community, because their dedication to the airport and the community is pretty significant. So really appreciate the bottom 7 that are listed there. They are all aircraft rescue firefighters, meaning they're firefighter 1 or firefighter 2 certified. They're either EMRs or EMTs. They're also our aircraft fuelers, our airport operations, our airport maintenance, our customer service. They do our snow plowing. They do our mowing. They do everything. So the only thing they don't do is the admin stuff, which is what Shannon and myself do. But really, these 7 guys are jacks of all trade, and they really do a great job. So just want to give a shout out to them. Some quick updates on the terminal. I can't go anywhere without people asking me how the terminal project's going, and I'm so thankful people ask now because I get to tell them it's going amazing. So construction progress is happening, things that have happened in the last week or so. A lot of MEP roughing, that's mechanical, electrical, plumbing, has occurred. Framing, glue lambs, structural glue lambs have been installed. Airside civil and foundations is ongoing. The old interior or terminal interior demo is largely complete. The structural steel folks showed up on site yesterday, and they're working on their stuff. The crown core, which is the metal panel, the exterior, and all the metal flashings and everything, they're on site and moving in with installation starting later this week or early next week. And so just things are moving very quickly. Any given day, there's 30 to 50 people on site working on the project. Comparatively, we would have 1 to 3 on the project before. So things are really moving quickly and on schedule. So that's a beautiful thing. Some pictures for you, and I apologize that there's only one monitor working. I can share this PowerPoint slide with you afterwards. But this is a picture of some of that MEP. This is in the inbound baggage area. You see all the duct work, some plumbing, some roof drains, fire suppression, got a lot of stuff going on there, electrical. That was a good picture that captured all the different MEP trades all in one place. Nice, clean installations. All of the plumbing and mechanicals being done by a local contractor. The electricals being done by a local contractor. The fire suppression is not, because we do not have a local fire suppression company. They're coming out of South Dakota, I believe, which is the nearest for this type of project. Here's a picture of the glue lambs installed. They're the structural cross members up at the top of the hold room there. They're wrapped in protective material until the roof decking gets on so that that wood does not get damaged. But those will be exposed wood beams in the hold room there, where you'll, after you come through the checkpoint, that's where you'll wait to board your flight in that big area. It'll be surrounded by glass overlooking Aspen Mountain. Just a nice, beautiful view. This is, if you remember the old terminal, if you were to go out into the rental car parking lot. So if you were to go down, come in baggage claim, and then go out into the rental car parking lot that was to the east of the building, this is taken from right by that door. To the left is where baggage claim was. To the right there, those openings is where Avis and Budget were. Checkpoints down the middle there. But it's all gone now, as you can see. Here's another shot. This is standing inside Avis's office area, looking towards baggage claim and the checkpoint, and you'll see that's all demoed out and gone now. This is standing where the entrance to our old admin offices were. That small opening to the left there is actually much bigger, and that's where the entrance was that you would come into ticketing, and ticketing was right in front of where that CMU wall is to your right there. Most of that CMU wall that you still see in this building along that whole south side of the building still has to come out, and that should be coming out this week and next week, so we can reallocate space in that area. Just an update on the financials and the schedule. The project cost is unchanged as of today, $41,469,110. There has been no project cost increases since we went with the new contractor and agreed to the guaranteed maximum price. There have been change orders, mind you, but they're taken out of contingency, and that contingency was wrapped into that total project cost. But we still have ample contingency left on the project as of now. So things are looking great there. The current planned move-in date, please don't hold me to this date exactly, but on their schedule, the current planned move-in date is July 15th, 2025. The contractual substantial completion, August 26th. And the contractual final completion, when they're all gone, everything's cleaned up, and we're back to operating an airport, not a construction zone. That is October 2nd, 2025. As of today, no schedule delays. We are on schedule, and everything looks great. So those are some great things. And then here's the most important slide that you all are going to care about. So I stood before you 5.5 months ago, and asked you to take a leap of faith with myself and the airport board. and sign an MOU between the airport board and the county, agreeing to backstop this project to the tune of as much as $22 million, likely worst case scenario of $13 million, best case scenario of $3 million. And I'm pleased to stand before you today and tell you that that is now $0. Over the last 5.5 months, we have successfully secured $22.23 million of funding towards this project, and the project is now fully funded. That is a combination of Wyoming Business Council, grant and loan, Federal Aviation Administration grants. I want to call your attention to the last two that are listed there. The top two are formula dollars, so those were coming our way. We just allocated them to this project. But the bottom two were discretionary grants that we've applied for. The first one, the $750 million. There was $270 million available nationwide. There's $3.1 billion of requests, and we were awarded half of what we requested. We were the only airport in the state to receive funding as part of that nationwide funding pot. So that was great news. And then the last one on that list, $7.5 million. That was announced a week and a half ago. There was $970 million available nationwide, $150 million for airports our size nationwide. We were awarded $7.5 million. There were $8.1 billion of requests for this pot of money. We were the highest, our third highest grant amount in the country for our size airport for this project. So huge shout out to the FAA. That $8.25 million of discretionary grants was that, gosh, I sure as heck hope we can do it, but I don't think we will. And we were able to do it. So that's years of relationships. That's years of vision sharing, numerous day trips down to Denver to visit with the FAA over the last several years, and just really, really making some noise, all the way to the highest levels of the FAA in Washington, D.C. And we were able to be successful there. YDOT Aeronautics gave us a $1.35 million discretionary grant, and then $425,000 of federal matching dollars, because they match 50% of the non-federal amount. And so that's that 425 there. I will highlight, just as much as I hate to take out a loan, the Wyoming Business Council loan that we secured is for 30 years at 1% interest. The first payment will not be due until likely around October of 2026 is likely when the first payment would be due for that, right around that time frame. So that's a lot of money in 5 months, $22.3 million or $22.2 million. Don't ever expect us to pull that off again, because I don't think it'll happen. I can't believe it happened, but it did. And so just want to thank you all for your support. Without the MOU, it wouldn't have given us the ability to go out and seek this funding. That gave the confidence to these funding partners that if the Business Council came in and nothing else came in, that they could give us money and know that the project was going to get done. Or if the FAA said, hey, we'll give you money, but nobody else does, they still knew the project was going to get done. And I heard that from the Business Council and the FAA, that was key to some of their decision-making, is knowing that there was support from the community that this project was going to get completed no matter what they did. So really appreciate your support and your trust in us to go out and make this happen. So I will tell you, though, we're not done. I have submitted a request for $2.54 million to the governor's office for IJA matching dollars. So as part of a recent appropriation, or a couple years ago appropriation, legislature gave the governor $75 million to match IJA, or bipartisan infrastructure law money, on a 4-to-1 ratio. So based on our IJA money that's on the project, we applied for $2.54 million there. We should know that hopefully by the end of the calendar year, or right around that time frame. The request has already been submitted to the governor. If we needed it, which I don't think we will, I'm quite confident we won't. YDOT has said that they can look to see if they can try to get us more money in the coming fiscal year. I don't think we'll need it, though. I think we'll be in a position to actually give them some money back by the time this is all said and done. And then the FAA, we do have 2 years of our Bill AIG apportionment money and 2 years of our AIP apportionment money, which is our formula dollars, that in our MOU, we committed, the airport board committed to you all, that we would spend all 4 years of both. With this discretionary money that has come in, it's looking like we won't have to use either of those 2 years for each of these programs, which means we can reallocate that to other critical capital projects at the airport. Instead of deferring more capital further out, we'll be able to bring some capital projects back forward. We're still finalizing all the numbers, and how the governor's matching funds come in will dictate a lot of things there. But otherwise, things are looking very, very good financially on the project, and you will not be having me come before you asking for money for this project. I'm highlight in bold this project.
This is recorded.
I said this project. But things are looking great. Once again, thank you for your support. And I'll be very quick here. I have some air service updates. Current status, advanced bookings are looking great. Improved schedule is helping that. We are still experiencing higher costs because of labor and parts and fuel, but those were known going into the year that we were going to see those higher costs. We have seen lower average fares than what we anticipated because of the additional capacity going into the market. That will self-correct as the load factors continue to climb. It's hard to see for some of you probably, so I apologize. But the chart on the right, when you get these slides, you can look at it and see what the advanced booking curves look like. And so you'll see all the way from September to January, and every month going out, the advanced booking curves are getting better, meaning people are booking further and further in advance, and those booking curves are going higher. September was our third best September ever for airport for employments. October was our fifth best ever, and both of those were within 150 passengers of being the best. So really, really good numbers there. We expect throughout the rest of the fiscal year to see improvement there. And continued improvement. And the advanced bookings for the holiday season just look fantastic. So get your tickets if you haven't done so already, because we will probably sell out. This chart, once again, will be hard for you guys to see with only the one screen, but the red dashed line or orange dashed line, whatever that is this year's employments. The green line at the top is 2012 employments, which is our best year ever. The second lowest, or the second line down, is 2019, which was our second best year ever. And you'll see by this chart that we are just shy of 2012 numbers. We actually hit them in September, or came real close to them in September, and we're just shy of them in October. And the trend line looks very favorable for us in 2025 to potentially have the best year ever for employments for the airport with our current service that we have today. So things are trending in a very, very positive manner there. The nice thing about employments is the other thing that it helps us with is passenger facility charges, because we get $4.39 to put towards capital for every passenger that's emplaned, revenue passenger that's emplaned. And so that $4.39 doesn't seem like a lot, but that adds up really quick. And instead of collecting $65,000 a year, we're on pace to be up over $120,000 a year, which allow us to get through projects quicker and fund those things much quicker with those fees. So definitely good numbers there. I won't dwell too much on this. This slide was primarily for the county. They had under budgeted for the minimum revenue guarantee this year. And so this slide was really for them to know where they needed to do a budget amendment for. You guys, to my understanding, are fully budgeted. So I have no concerns for you guys or City of Green River. But this is our burn rate through the first quarter. It is higher than we'd like to see. But as I just shared with you, I expect improvements as we move through the year and as those airfares self-correct and the passenger numbers continue to climb. Some other quick updates for you all. 2024 projects, master plan. Appreciate those of you that participate in our master plan process. We are awaiting final airport layout plan approval from the FAA. Otherwise, everything's done there. And once it's finally signed off by the FAA, it'll be published on rksmasterplan.com for the public to see. Runway 321 lighting project, that was a $1.7 million project. All but 2.5% of it was federally or state funded. We are waiting for FAA flight check for the nav aids, the approach systems basically on the runway. All the other lighting systems are operational. We cannot turn the nav aids on until they're flight checked by the FAA. And so we're just waiting for them to get here. Their plane broke down. So we're waiting. Yeah. So we're waiting for them to show up. So ARPA water and sewer project, we secured funding through the ARPA money that SLIB was giving out, about $600,000, just shy of $600,000, and we offered a 50% match, so a $1.2 million project. Bids came in several $100,000 lower than we anticipated, so we asked SLIB to add additional scope to that to make even further improvements to our water and sewer systems. They approved that, so that work is nearing completion. And then we're anxiously awaiting to see if there's any ARPA recovery money that gets reallocated to the entities based on the proportional amount of their local match. And obviously, you guys are probably watching that too for any of the monies you received in that program. And then our new runway sweeper, it's a 1.5 year lead time for this sucker, $1 million piece of equipment scheduled for delivery June 2025. That's a picture of the equipment. So it got a 22-foot high-speed rotary broom on the front and the high-speed air blast on the back. FAA requires us to have bare pavement on our airfield to operate commercial flights, and it's key that we have these high-efficiency brooms. This will be our second broom at the airport. By the FAA standards, we should have 5 of them, but I don't have enough staff for that. So we will probably stop at 2 because I don't have enough staff to operate more than that. But that gives you some perspective of what the FAA says we should have for our size airport. We should have 5 brooms, 3 plows, 2 front end loaders, and 2 blowers. That's more than I have people total. So that just does not add up. So, but anyway, I'm almost done, I promise. Fiscal year 25-26 projects, crack seal project and seal coat and marking projects. So the state partners every 4 years on a rotating basis around the state. They cover 80% of the cost of crack seal at the airport. They cover 90% of seal coat and marking at the airport. So we always say yes to that because that increases the longevity of our pavements. And as you all are aware, and Paul's well aware, the cost to pave a mile of road is very expensive. I can assure you the cost to pave a mile of taxiway or runway is a significant multiplier on that. So anytime we can increase the longevity of our pavement, especially when somebody else is helping pay at an 80 or 90% clip, we always say yes. We're also working on plans on a hangar development conceptual design. I'm working on a scope and fee for that right now with our design team that I'll be presenting to the board in the near future. We are officially over 170% leased on hangar space for this winter. We are busting at the seams and absolutely need more hangar space. So we're going to evaluate some costs and some conceptual design so we can look at how does this look and how do we fund it so we can get additional hangar capacity built, which generates additional revenue for the airport. Seat Base wrapped up the fire season, at least the Seat Base fire season. They flew 53 missions out of our air tanker base, 14 different fires. Ramsey Ranch was the closest one. 25,448 gallons of retardant, 3,900 gallons of water was spread on fires out of the Seat Base here in Rock Springs. Easily our busiest year since we opened in 2021, I believe. And then my last slide, we're excited with a lot of new things that are coming down the pipe. We do have the new aircraft maintenance facility, the Part 145 repair station, staffing up. They have multiple job postings out, looking to hire staff to get that up and running. We are also in final negotiations on a Part 61 flight school to set up shop at the airport. So we have flight instruction available for the community. We have 2 key RFPs that will impact the airport's economics moving forward. These are 2 massive revenue generator or expense generator items that we can control our costs or our revenues through enhanced revenue language in these contracts. So those RFPs, the rental car concession RFP hits the street November 18th. The fuel supplier RFP will be going out about a month after that. Those are 2 of the most critical RFPs that our airport can ever issue on a rolling basis. So we're excited for what those will bring. With all the federal funds we get, there's always some downsides, and those are all the strings attached. And one of those new strings attached is this year, by September 30th, we had to adopt a Title VI plan, which is a discrimination plan. We're not opposed to making sure that we avoid discrimination, to be clear, but it is a very expensive plan to create and to implement. It costs us north of $35,000 to create, and it's going to cost us north of $20,000 a year to maintain and comply with for the federal government. So this is an unfunded mandate that we have to follow. So that has been done, and we're working on implementation at this time. We have our full-scale emergency exercise occurring in April. I look forward to all of you, once I have a date, volunteering to be victims. You can all show up and get all bloodied up and be a victim for it. I know we have a few actors and actresses up there that can do a great job, so look forward to seeing you out there. And and then I think I may have shared before, but we're excited in June to be one of the stops for the 2025 Air Race Classic. That is 40 to 60 aircraft piloted by all women flight crews racing across the country. They race against themselves, so there's not any of that like Reno Air Race type racing. They race against their own times across the country, and we're one of those stops in June. It's going to be over a 3-day period. We'll probably need about 40 to 50 volunteers for that event, so be looking for that after the holidays. We'll be getting the word out about that, and would once again love to have you all up there to volunteer and welcome these women aviators coming through our community and putting our best foot forward to showcase our community. So with that, I tried to go very quick. I know that was long, but that was a lot of information I tried to share, and my throat hurts now. So hopefully you don't have too many questions.
Council?
Not a question, but wow. Great job, Devin. I mean, that's a lot of work. And I know that you divvy that out a little bit, but I mean, it's mostly you. So great job, and tell everybody under you, great job.
Appreciate it.
Your Honor,
Yes, sir.
the added flights that you've added, they're full for the most part. Any other airlines looking at coming in, any of that kind of thing?
So excellent question. We are running about 72% load factor. We have room for, obviously 100% is completely full, but generally you never obtain that in the airline industry. So if you can get to 85, 86%, that is like busting at the seams full for air service. So we still have potential to add more passengers there, and I think we will see that over the next couple months. I can tell you that we are in active negotiations with one airline that we are working to improve air service there. And then we have meetings scheduled in March with multiple other airlines down in Phoenix at a conference where all the airlines come together and you basically do speed dating with airlines. And that's what we have that planned, and we will be there. I'll actually be bringing a proposal to the board for that in the next month or so to make all that happen. But with the terminal coming to completion in 2025, we will have the space to support larger aircraft. We'll have the space to support multiple aircraft at one time, and we'll have the ability to support multiple airlines at one time. So we are actively out there working. I can't guarantee anything. It's a lot like economic development, where you may talk to 100 companies, and if you land one of them, you get really excited. But I can tell you it won't be for a lack of effort on our part. Delta. We would absolutely love to have Delta at our airport. And if they ever listen to a Rock Springs City Council meeting, Delta, we'd love to have you. We understand that Rock Springs is not in your business model right now, but if that ever changes, we would love to have Delta Airlines.
Me too. Anyone else?
I will say United is a phenomenal partner. I know your experiences haven't always been the greatest, Mayor, but United in general is a phenomenal partner. The reliability of our air service, I'll actually be posting some reliability statistics in the next week on our Facebook page. I'm starting to do that once a quarter to compare our reliability to the national numbers, and we're within or exceeding, we're within 0.1% of the national average for reliability or exceeding it. So the numbers are great, and the convenience is obviously great, not having to drive to Salt Lake. I just ran some numbers for the enterprise committee that I'll be presenting to on Thursday morning. If you park in the garage in Salt Lake and you factor in the round trip drive and the mileage using the federal mileage rate and our median household income, it's about $20 or $30 something an hour. It equates to $388 of time and cost to travel to Salt Lake City, and that's on a 2-day trip. That number climbs each day you stay in a parking garage down there. And then the cheapest parking option is $12 at the airport, so even if you take $28 away from each one of those, it still makes sense to fly local. So
It doesn't. I, in fact, will be flying out on November 29th and hopefully flying home on December 1st.
I'm glad you found that to work finally for you.
Yeah. So, and congratulations, Devin. We really do appreciate your work, and it is really nothing short of phenomenal what you've accomplished here. So thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it. And once again, your support meant the world. It's allowed us to really focus on the future. And I don't know that you guys knew how much that meant. I know it was a big ask, but us supporting that MOU really made my job easier to go out and try to secure this money. So I just really appreciate you guys going on that limb with myself and the airport board, because we wouldn't have gotten the project restarted. We'd have higher costs, and there's no guarantee that we would have secured any funding. So the MOU made all the difference as I had those conversations. So thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Okay. Well, with that, that brings us to our public hearing portion of the meeting. We have a public hearing regarding flat rental amounts for each public housing unit. Would anyone like to speak to this? Okay, then we'll close the public hearing and we'll go to petitions and public comment. If anybody would like to address the council on myself, they can just pop up to the podium and identify themselves and anyone that they may represent if they do.
Gary G. I live at 321 Smith Street, and I'm still concerned about the Joe Zanetti property behind Top Tech. There's nothing been done. Oh, I do want to congratulate the people that caused them to move all the junk cars and clean up the fire hazard from scraping off the vegetation. But it's still bare ground. We're still having dust problems in the community there. And the construction places that build houses and stuff have to water to keep their dust down. It looks like to me that Mr. Zanetti should have to get a water truck in there if it's not covered to water down couple times a day the property so we don't have the dust problem. The second thing there is the fence that's supposed to be up to block the view of the property once it's a parking lot again, and the pathway that's supposed to be built and the double fence. Is there any movement on that getting done?
So they're operating in that space under a conditional use permit, right? And so then they're going through the process of addressing all of those things in terms of the land area, right? And certainly, I don't know that there's provisions for that sort of thing for dust control.
Yes, Your Honor, there are provisions in there. They're working through the site plan process, and I don't have a time frame of when, you know, the rotomill will be placed and the fence will be installed, but they are working through that process.
Thank you. Yeah, and that's, as far as the pathway and the other fence, that's a funding issue. But that's separate from the fence that Mr. Zanetti will have to put up. But if he were to go put a fence up tomorrow, we would probably be fairly cranky with him because he hadn't finished the process on our end. So I apologize for the disturbance that it's causing you and your neighbors. But they are working on it, and it will be addressed, just maybe not as quickly as we could hope. And certainly we'll visit with them about the dust mitigation in the meantime.
Okay. One other thing I'd like to bring up is the ditch work along Bitter Creek. Behind that, from where it's behind Albertsons. That is excellent work that's got done there. My concern is it's going to take quite a while for that project, it looks like, to get resumed and put back together. I'd like to see, and it's somewhat aggravating to me, to see city assets and money, in my point of view, being wasted on hanging flower plants and watering them and using the equipment to do that instead of just cutting the brush down in the ditch, and eliminating a lot of the flood problems that the town's experiencing and has experienced in the past, to get that ditch flowing, all ditches in the city, flowing better, because each one of those brushes, trees, whatever that's in there, is a miniature dam holding the water back, flooding the city. I'd like to see the assets of the city get used for flood control rather than hanging flower plants and gators watering the plants and the wasting the labor on that getting done and putting it on cleaning the ditches.
Well, I appreciate that feedback. And you might be happy to hear Councillor Hanson was the spearhead behind we're trying goat mitigation. So we're going to have goats come in and hopefully clean up some of those weeds. It is unfortunately.
Why is everybody laughing? Wait a second here now.
Like Tom Brady, Brett Favre down there, maybe
Yeah.
LeBron James.
Yeah, no, that
What's the hourly wage you pay a goat?
you'd
to
be
do that?
surprised. Yeah. But no, it is unfortunately more complicated, certainly than I understood when I was first put in this position, to go and remove and clean up those ditches. There's lots of regulations around how we do it and what that looks like, but we do identify areas where we can see there's going to be backflow, and we have folks go in and clean those areas out. Even if we eliminated all flower pots, it wouldn't provide us with the funding that we would need to deal with Dead Horse Creek and Bitter Creek and everything. It's just too big of a project. In order to complete the project like we started behind Albertsons, we need somewhere around $70 million. And that's a lot of flower pots. But I do appreciate your point and your feedback.
Maybe the airport could loan you some money.
They just saved us from having to spend a whole ton of money. I think if they lend it to us, we'll be robbing Peter to pay Paul. But thank you, sir, and thank you for coming down. And just so you know, you can always call me.
Okay,
Yeah, you don't have to wait for a council meeting.
okay.
Yeah, and then we can hopefully get to some stuff sooner.
All right,
Very good.
thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to address us? April? Okay. With that, we'll move on to bills and claims. First up, we have the bills and claims from November 5th of 2024. Council, do we have a motion?
Your Honor,
Councilor Demus?
I make a motion to approve the bills and claims for November 5th, 2024.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Hickerson. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining?
Abstaining.
Motion carries with Councilor Thompson abstaining, taking us to the salaries for October 22nd, 2024. Council, do we have a motion?
Your Honor,
Councilor Demus?
I make a motion to approve the salaries for October 22nd, 2024.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Batolo. Is there any discussion?
Robinson.
Was that Robinson?
Yeah.
I better get my ears checked. Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining?
Abstaining.
Okay, motion carries with Councilor Thompson abstaining, bringing us to new business. First up, we have a request from the fire department for permission to fill a vacant captain position. Do we have a motion?
Your Honor,
Councilor Hanson?
I move to approve this request.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Thompson. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries unanimously, taking us to a request from the fire department for permission to fill 2 vacant firefighter positions. Do we have a motion?
Your Honor,
Councilor Demus?
I make a motion to approve this request.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Bartolo. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries unanimously, taking us to our final piece of new business. A request from the Civic Center for permission to fill a vacant senior recreation supervisor position. Do we have a motion?
Your Honor,
Counselor Hickerson?
move to approve this request.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Counselor Hanson. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries unanimously, bringing us to resolutions. First up, we have Resolution 2024-154.
A resolution authorizing Max Mickelson, mayor, acting in his capacity as chairman of the Rock Springs Housing Board, to approve a revision to the authority's flat rent schedule for units in its HUD-assisted public housing program.
Thank you. Council, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Counselor Hickerson. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Counselor Demas. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining?
Abstaining.
Okay, the motion carries with Counselor Thompson abstaining, taking us to Resolution 2024-155.
A resolution accepting the BGA Patrick Leahy Bulletproof Vest Partnership Grant Award from the U.S. Bureau of Justice Assistance Program for the fiscal year 2024.
Thank you, Council. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Counselor Bertola. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Counselor Hanson. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries unanimously, taking us to Resolution 2024-156.
A resolution accepting and approving a highway safety program federal fiscal year 2025 subaward agreement between the Wyoming Department of Transportation Highway Safety Program and the City of Rock Springs, Wyoming, Rock Springs Police Department, and authorizing Max Mickelson as mayor of the City of Rock Springs, Wyoming, to execute said agreement on behalf of the city.
Thank you. Council, do we have a motion?
Your Honor,
Counselor Demas?
I make a motion to approve Resolution 2024-156.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Counselor Robinson. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? The motion carries, bringing us to Resolution 2024-157.
A resolution accepting and approving a highway safety program federal fiscal year 2025 subaward agreement between the Wyoming Department of Transportation Highway Safety Program and the City of Rock Springs, Wyoming, Rock Springs Police Department, and authorizing Max Mickelson as mayor of the City of Rock Springs, Wyoming, to execute said agreement on behalf of the city.
Thank you. Council, do we have a motion?
Your Honor,
Counselor Henson?
I move to approve Resolution 2024-157.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Counselor Zadi. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries unanimously, taking us to Resolution 2024-158.
A resolution accepting and approving an agreement by and between Utah Shakespeare Festival and the City of Rock Springs, Wyoming, and authorizing Max Mickelson as mayor and Matthew L. McBurnett as city clerk to execute said agreement on behalf of the City of Rock Springs.
Thank you. Council, do we have a motion?
Your Honor,
Counselor Demas?
I make a motion to approve Resolution 2024-158.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Counselor Thompson. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries unanimously, bringing us to our final 2024-159.
A resolution accepting and approving an ASO group renewal request and plan changes with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Wyoming to be effective January 1st, 2025, and authorizing and directing Max Mickelson as mayor of the City of Rock Springs, Wyoming, to execute reopening request documents on behalf of the city.
Thank you. Council, do we have a motion?
Your Honor,
Counselor Demas?
I make a motion to approve Resolution 2024-159.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Counselor Hickerson. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries unanimously, bringing us to our only ordinance for this evening, which is on its third reading, so we will expect action, and it is ordinance 2024-14.
An ordinance amending Article 4-2 entitled Garbage Collection of the Ordinances of the City of Rock Springs, Wyoming.
Council, do we have a motion?
Your Honor, move to approve ordinance 2024-14.
Thank you, Councilor Batolo. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Hickerson. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Matt, may we please have roll call?
Counselor Zadi,
Yes.
Hickerson,
Yes.
Demus,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Batolo,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Mayor Mickelson.
Yes. Okay, it passes unanimously, bringing us to council updates. Would anyone like to provide an update?
I'd just like to speak about Cowboys Against Cancer this weekend and just comment on our community and how giving it is to other members of the community in need. I think Cowboys has been around for 30 years, and in total, they've raised over $6 million. And you watch at the dinner and at the event, and the amount of money that's donated in that one night is amazing for the community. And it's an organization that's been around for, like I said, 30 years and have helped a lot of people in need in our community. And just brings joy to my heart seeing that we have such a giving community for groups like this. So,
Absolutely.
Your Honor,
Councilor Hanson?
also along those same lines, I went to the Rockstar Awards put on by the Chamber of Commerce, and that also was a very excellent turnout, and it was a very broad cross-section of businesses throughout our community and a lot of community leaders that really deserve to be rock stars and really do perform and do go over and above to help out the community. It was a good success, and definitely another feather in the cap for the Chamber of Commerce for us. So
Those were absolutely wonderful events.
Yes.
All right, Your Honor, not nearly as happy a story. I've communicated with the council and Paul about this a little bit, but I've had a few more complaints from citizens down around the area of Muir, McCarty, Center Street, Smith, some of the streets down around Bunning Park about the noise coming from the jackhammering of the big coal cars down there. My understanding is they've got about 100 coal cars down there that they're in the process of trying to get the coal out of. I know that Paul had reached out and had been told it should be about 2 weeks down the road when they finish. One of my constituents talked to him and they said 2 months to 2 years, which was a little bit concerning. Now, I don't know if the 2 years is if they end up getting more coal cars than they already have, if it's going to be like a continuing process or what, but I was kind of hoping maybe we might be able to reach out to them and have them come in and talk to the council, or at least maybe give us a more reasonable timeline. 2 months, I think is somewhat, I won't say reasonable, but livable. But if it were to go on for 2 years, that would be pretty outrageous. I mean, I know that my own windows in my house were shaking from the constant vibration. They're staying within the ordinance as far as noise complaints and stuff go, or the time of day when they're working, but it is pretty loud. And for the shift workers, it's definitely, detrimental to sleep and everything else. The constituent also said that he had downloaded a decibel meter on his phone and was about 100 yards away, and it was still hitting 70 and 80 decibels, and it was pretty loud. So it is definitely a bother from about 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning until about 6:30 at night.
Appreciate that.
I don't have anything.
Okay. With that, I would note we have the Marine Corps' birthday coming up, Veterans Day, and also the anniversary of Kristallnacht and the fall of the Berlin Wall. So there's also some pretty big, pretty heavy things coming up.